Network.
Don't worry, Pat. Nobody's listening. All right, come on over to the Behind the Beer stage, or you can stay where you are. You can probably hear us anyway and enjoy some beer out there. We're interviewing brewers all day. It's the Tap Hunter and Brewing Network Behind the Beer stage. We're giving away a bunch of swag today. Also, you can go to craftbeercrawl.com and vote for the People's Choice Award. And we're right next to the Lions Club food booth where you can get tri-tip and bratwurst and all sorts of good stuff to keep you going. With me right now is Patrick Mcllhenney, and he's from Alpine Beer Company. Of course, Melanie from Tap Hunter is up here with us, too, to talk to Patrick. And you might know Pat from such beers as Duet, which is one of the best IPAs on the planet right now. It's good stuff. Pat, I'll be honest with you, I haven't known about Alpine Beer Company for very long. But last year, me and my crew came down to the National Homebrewers Conference in San Diego, and pretty much everybody on my staff came home with a case of Duet. They were so stoked by that beer. Oh, there you go. Thank you. Yeah, he's got you.
They're lucky we don't even sell cases anymore.
Anymore, right.
Yeah.
They might have stolen them. I'm not going to vouch for
That's
their
all right.
character.
No worries on my part.
No, but they came home with a case of 22-ounce bottles, and it's just really an amazing beer. It's on tap now over at the booth. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
It's our flagship IPA, not our double IPA, made with Simcoe and Amarillo hops in harmony, thus the name Duet.
Got it. It's a difficult thing to do to make Simcoe in harmony with Amarillo hops. How did you get that right?
You're absolutely right. Simcoe can be easily overdone.
Yeah.
And balancing it was the trick. And it's down to minute differences that can push it over the top on to catty.
Yeah.
Or just right. And we have to really pay attention to our quantities. As the year goes on and the hops lose some of their alpha and aromatic qualities, we make adjustments throughout the year to keep consistent product coming out.
Okay.
It's all work in progress as we go throughout the year.
And that catty flavor that Simcoe can give, other people call it, I'll just be honest with you, cat piss.
Absolutely.
It gets a really weird flavor.
Yep.
And so I have a difficult time with Simcoe beers because there are brewers that are not as careful as you are with the quantity of Simcoe hops. It's a very popular hop, but it's not always used correctly, I guess, is my point.
I've had a lot of time to study hops. I actually analyze the compounds down to percentages and to see how well they fit together with other hops that may be lacking or may enhance the individual compounds within the hop oils. I know it may be difficult to understand how this all works if you're not familiar with the actual hop oils in the hops that derive the bitterness and the aromatics. But there are individual compounds that are in varying degrees within each hop variety. And when you understand what works well together in what proportions, you can tailor your beer, in this case, usually IPAs, by looking at the actual analysis of the hops, knowing what the percentage of the hop oil compounds are, and adding or pairing hops, and in some cases 3 or 4 different kinds of hops, to end up with the right percentages of individual hop oil compounds. It's complex, and there's no real chart for it. I don't know anybody else that actually goes to that trouble to
I've not heard it yet.
No, and you probably won't. You probably hear it in the future.
Yeah.
Because this is something that I'm letting out as the secret on how we control the aromatics in our hops, hoppy beers.
Well, the work is paying off because it's truly a fantastic beer.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, we just spent, we had the chance to go on a Great Belgian Beer Tour at the end of April, and I'm not going to lie, the Belgians and the people running the bottle shops over there know Alpine. So you say you came from San Diego, and they hugged us because we live near Alpine.
Oh, my word.
And I mean, so you guys are, what's your production right now?
Oh, we're way up to the 1,550 barrels a year.
Right.
And they know of you
In Belgium.
That's
I
fantastic.
am totally blown away.
So Pat was telling me just before he was a home brewer and a fireman. That was his career. And you retired and then decided to do the stupid thing of opening a brewery so you can go back to work?
Well, actually, I opened the brewery long before I retired.
All right.
Had the brewery in operation since '02. Had beer in the market since '99. Long story, AleSmith helped me get started. I provided them with free labor for a couple of years, and they felt sorry for me when I asked them if they would mind contracting some of my beer. So they said, yeah. And I came up with Mcllhenney's Irish Red. It was a highly acclaimed homebrew, award-winning.
Nice.
And took that to the World Beer Cup our first year in operation and took home the gold in the Irish Red category.
Wow.
So it proved to be, the process that I used to get to the professional level, perfecting the recipes, moving on to the next beer style till it was perfected, submitting it in competitions, getting the judges' notes, making the proper adjustments till I was winning awards with it, and then perfect the next style down the road. So when I opened, I had 8 core beers that I knew were solid beers, and of course the awards kind of justified the process I used to get there.
Sure. So advice to homebrewers that are looking to start a brewery, do your research first and get those beers ready to go.
Take good notes, make the adjustments that the judges recommend, face it like you would a profession and not just a hobby.
Sure.
So Pat, you have you're located San Diego-wise. How many people have been to Alpine Brewing? That's awesome.
Yeah,
They're east of San Diego.
Yep, 30
It's
miles.
it's about this warm in Alpine.
Yep.
And I don't know that many people know that you just recently added on a restaurant to your brewery next door.
Yep, we opened a barbecue pub. It's got a whole whopping 38 seats. So don't bring your crowds.
Let's all go right now.
Yeah. And it's packed all the time.
And so what was the reasoning behind that? It's a great place, and
Well, we always wanted to be able to serve beer by the pint. That's just how I was. And ABC wouldn't let us do it without serving food. So we had to up our game. And of course, the pizza thing was already taken, well established in the brew pub community.
Yeah, several times over.
So what goes better with good beer than good barbecue?
Nice work. If anybody has any questions for Pat, we got a microphone up here, so feel free. If you want to ask about the beer, you can try it right over at the booth.
ask questions. We're giving away Firestone swag if you ask questions.
That's right. Even silly questions. That's fine by us.
Mark Leisman from Pismo Beach. You talked a lot about your Simcoe yeast brewing, the hops. Sorry. What's the origination of that? And is that indigenous to any particular area? And the climates that involved in growing that?
You're talking about the Simcoe hop in
Simcoe hop.
particular?
Correct.
That's a Pacific Northwest grown hop. It just was part of the program that the hop growers developed and, exposed to enough people that they said they liked. So they continued to grow it. And it was proprietary for quite a while, only exclusive to certain farms. It's now a little more readily available.
Washington, Oregon.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, it became so popular, because it is a good hop, albeit difficult to use, that a lot of brewers, they made these staple beers out of it. They had their recipe like etched in stone, and then they couldn't get Simcoe anymore. It became so popular that you couldn't contract it anymore. So a lot of brewers ended up having to change their recipe to figure out how to make the same great beer, but without Simcoe.
And that can't be done.
Right. Which is a problem that brewers have run into with several different hops over the years. Years ago, Amarillo was a hop like that. It became very popular.
It's actually like that right now.
Is it back to that again?
Oh, yeah.
And that one is a proprietary hop, right?
Even more so, and still to this day, yes.
Yeah. So only the family of hop farmers that own the Amarillo can grow it, which creates a problem for brewers who want to use it. That one's a little easier to use, I think, than Simcoe.
Much more forgiving.
Yeah.
Less pungent in certain areas, and certainly doesn't carry that cat quality.
I think that hop quantities, maybe we could talk a little bit about this. One of my guys, JP there, he wrote a blog about the future of craft beer. And, one of the things he was kind of anticipating was that with its popularity, where are we going to get these ingredients from in years to come? It's going to become increasingly difficult for new breweries to find ingredients, and especially the popular ones. What's your take on that?
I have seen a lot of movement in the right direction from the farmers in the hop world. It used to be driven by the big breweries. The big breweries, the big three, always dictated what hops were grown. The craft beer hops were kind of a cutesy little sideline. Right. Didn't pay the bills. They just kind of let's have some fun. Trying some different stuff. Was never really how they made their money. That's changing because the big guys aren't buying the hops in the quantities that they used to. The farmers are having to rely on the craft industry on making their sales and paying their bills. So because of that, they're out there actively inquiring what your needs are. And as a result, if you don't have a contract that's 5 years out, you're not going to get the hops, period.
Well, and we're hearing a lot about that. Is there enough resources to support the industry? I mean, would you consider growing your own? We're hearing a little bit of that now.
Well, the transition is in full flight. They are actually growing more aromatic hops, the kind that we use. But the practicality of growing your own is kind of left. You need specialized equipment to pelletize. Strippers, pelletizers are expensive.
We need hop growers.
And hop strippers.
Yeah, and hop strippers. It's a new industry out there. Dollar bills required. All right, any other questions for Pat while he's up here? Come on up to the microphone if you got him. There we go. I got to go try the duet before it's gone.
It's flying out of there.
Is it really?
Run.
Like this, good. I'm from San Diego, so I'm definitely a frequent Alpine visitor. You guys use a lot of different hops. Like I noticed pretty much every pale ale or IPA you're coming out with is a different hop variety you guys have never used before. My question is, how many different pilot batches do you have to go through to really dial that in when you're using a new hop, like with almost every single new beer?
This might surprise you, but we don't do any pilot brewing anymore. I kind of alluded to how we analyze the hops and how we use them. That's analyze the actual breakdown of each hop variety and know what's in it and know what combinations work well, so I could build it just knowing from the analysis how to put them together.
So it just goes right to the system, which is how large? So if you're doing this first batch of a beer, how many barrels is that?
Anywhere from 10 to 12 barrels. So it's basically like a pilot system for a big brewery anyways.
But it's
And then,
your production.
I guess a follow-up then, how many times have you gotten it like wrong to where you dialed something in or you thought it was going to work and then it just completely didn't?
Never.
Oh, come on, Pat. Really?
We've had, in our 10 years of existence, we've had 3 batches of beer go bad, and it wasn't because of a bad combination or bad recipe. It's bad yeast, dead yeast, or an off infection. And that's 3 batches in 11 years.
Thank you.
Yeah, cheers to that. My statistic would have been the opposite, which is why I just interview you guys instead of actually brew the beer. Yeah. All right, any other questions for Pat? I'm going to let him go. Yeah, come on up. We'll let him go enjoy his day here in a couple minutes. You can go to beercrawl.com right now and vote for your favorite beer. You should probably wait till you try a few of them.
Yeah. Vote early and vote often. There's like a couple hundred votes in. There's some leaders. You'll win a grand prize to next year's Firestone event. Tickets, VIP, hotel. Vote.
$100, fire pit. It's really a big, I'm not joking about that stuff. They put together a big prize package. Go ahead.
Hey, Pat, just humor me for a second. Are we ever going to see growlers of exponential hoppiness again? Please?
No.
He didn't even humor you for a second.
Yeah.
He just said no. That's
Thank
too
you,
bad.
That bridge has been burned.
All right.
But we still bottle it.
Here's to hoping those people aren't here today.
Right. What else are you pouring at the booth besides Duet?
We have a pale ale. It's built like an IPA. It's 5%. It's called New Millennium. It uses Millennium and Galaxy hops. And when that runs out, hint, hint, when the New Millennium runs out, we're going to put the other keg that we brought, which is Bad Boy. It's our other double IPA, 9%. All premium Maris Otter hop malt and some new aged hops.
Wonderful.
Run to Alpine now.
All right, Patrick Mcllhenney from Alpine Beer Company up with us. Thanks very much, Patrick. I appreciate it. All right, coming up in just a couple minutes, we got Julian Schrago from a brand new brewery called Beechwood Brewing and Barbecue. So hang in there.
The Brewing Network.